In the fog-veiled town of Black Hollow, the river cut through the heart of the settlement like a jagged scar. For as long as anyone could remember, the legend of the Midnight Bridge haunted the townsfolk. An old, rickety structure of blackened wood and rusted iron was said to materialize across the river at exactly midnight. Those who dared to cross it vanished without a trace, but their screams, those blood-curdling wails, echoed back long after the bridge dissolved into the mist. Sheriff Grant had heard the stories 1,000 times, dismissed them as folktales meant to keep children indoors after dark. But when young Sabrina Greaves disappeared 2 nights ago, her tiny footprints leading to the riverbank, Grant could no longer ignore the whispers. "We go tonight," he said, his voice heavy with doubt and fear. Alongside him stood Deputy Harris, a wiry man clutching his rifle with white knuckles, and Rosalind, Sabrina's older sister, her face pale but resolute. As the clock struck midnight, the bridge emerged from the darkness. The fog parted like a curtain, revealing crooked beams and slick planks that seemed impossibly fragile. A chill swept through the air, carrying with it a faint metallic smell, blood, perhaps. "We go together," Grant said, leading the way. Their boots creaked on the damp wood as they stepped onto the bridge, each step reverberating like a death knell. The lantern light flickered, shadows stretching and twisting around them. Halfway across, Harris froze. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. A faint sobbing sound rose from the mist below. Rosalind gasped. "Sabrina? Is that you?" From the fog ahead came a voice, small and fragile. "Rosalind, help me." Without thinking, Rosalind bolted forward. Grant and Harris shouted after her, but it was too late. She vanished into the swirling fog, her scream cutting through the silence like shattered glass. Grant and Harris exchanged a look, terror mirrored in their eyes. They pressed on, the bridge seemingly stretching longer with every step. Shapes began to form in the fog, twisted figures, hollow eyes glowing faintly, their mouths stretched wide in silent screams. "They are watching us," Harris stammered, raising his rifle. A skeletal hand shot from the mist, grabbing Harris's ankle. He shrieked, the rifle clattering to the planks as he was pulled screaming into the void below. His final cry was swallowed by the darkness. Grant was alone now, lantern trembling in his grip. The bridge groaned as though under immense weight, the fog pressing closer. Ahead, he saw Sabrina, or what was left of her. She stood with her back to him, her small dress soaked and torn. "Sabrina?" Grant whispered. Her head turned impossibly far, her face pale, hollow eyes dripping black tears. Her mouth opened, and a voice, not hers, but something ancient and hungry, spoke. "Why did you come here, Sheriff? This place is not for the living." The lantern went out. In the suffocating darkness, Grant felt the planks splintering beneath his feet. Dozens of icy hands clawed at him, dragging him downward. His last thought before the void swallowed him whole was that the bridge had been waiting for them all along. When dawn broke over Black Hollow, the bridge was gone. The river was still, and the fog had lifted. But if one listened closely at midnight, they could still hear faint screams carried on the wind, and the faint creak of wooden planks in the distance. No one ever crossed the river again,